If you slept less than 6 hours last night, your brain aged faster, your heart worked harder, and your body quietly started breaking down. And here's the scary part. You might not even feel it. One night might not seem like a big deal, but night after night, it's silently wrecking your health. Today, we're exposing the 15 shocking effects of getting less than 6 hours of sleep. Stay with me. You'll never look at sleep the same way again. In both the US and the UK, millions of adults think they can get by on 5 or 6 hours a night. But sleep isn't optional. It's fuel for your brain, your heart, your immune system, and even your DNA. According to the CDC and NHS, sleeping under 6 hours regularly puts you at significantly higher risk of physical and mental illness. Point 1. Cognitive decline less than 6 hours. Your brain's working memory drops by up to 40%, according to Harvard research. You forget things, miss details, and make poor decisions. Point 2. Slower reaction times. Your reaction time becomes as slow as someone who's legally drunk. That's why drowsy driving is just as dangerous as drunk driving. Point 3. Increased risk of heart disease studies in both the US and UK show a 45 out of 50% higher risk of heart attacks and strokes in chronic short sleepers. Your heart doesn't get the recovery time it needs. Point 4. Weight gain and junk food. Cravings' lack of sleep boosts ghrelin, hunger hormone, and drops leptin, fullness hormone. You crave sugar, carbs, and calories. Result, higher risk of obesity. Point 5. Poor emotional control, sleep less. The amygdala, your emotional brain, becomes hyperactive. You get moody, irritable, anxious, or even depressed. Point 6. Did you know that sleeping less than 6 hours a night could be silently damaging your heart? Studies show that people who regularly sleep under 6 hours have a 20% higher risk of heart attacks and strokes. Why? Because poor sleep increases stress hormones, raises blood pressure, and leads to chronic inflammation, all major triggers for cardiovascular disease. So tonight, give your heart a break. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep. It's not just rest, it's protection. Point 7, you're absolutely right. Sleeping less than 6 hours per night can cause sleep disturbances, and even more than that, it can lead to serious long-term health issues. Here's a science-backed explanation you can use in your YouTube script, infographic, or educational content. Why sleeping less than 6 hours causes sleep disturbances. Your body cycles through different stages of sleep: light sleep, deep sleep, and REM sleep. Sleeping less than 6 hours shortens or eliminates deep and REM stages, which are vital for memory, emotional balance, and physical recovery. Increased sleep fragmentation. Short sleep duration leads to more awakenings at night and less time in restorative phases. You wake up feeling tired, irritable, or impaired circadian rhythm. Consistently short sleep can disrupt your biological clock, making it harder to fall asleep or stay asleep. This leads to a vicious cycle. You sleep less. Your body can't regulate sleep. You sleep worse the next night. Less than 6 hours of sleep causes an increase in cortisol, stress hormone, and ghrelin, hunger hormone, and a decrease in leptin, satiety hormone. This not only causes weight gain, but makes it harder to fall asleep due to stress and metabolic imbalance. Point 8, absolutely. Getting less than 6 hours of sleep regularly weakens your immune system, and this effect is well documented in medical research. Chronic sleep deprivation, especially less than 6 hours per night, significantly impairs immune function. When you don't get enough sleep, your body produces fewer infection-fighting cells like T cells and cytokines, which are crucial for defending against viruses and inflammation. Even one night of poor sleep can reduce immune response by nearly 70%. Reduced T cell activity. Sleep deprivation lowers the ability of white blood cells to attach to and kill infected cells. These are proteins that help fight inflammation and infection. Less sleep, fewer cytokines, more sickness. Studies show people who sleep under 6 hours are less responsive to vaccines, like the flu shot. People sleeping under 6 hours are 4 or 5 times more likely to catch a cold compared to those sleeping 7 to 8 hours. Point 9 sleeping less than 6 hours regularly can cause serious brain dysfunction and increase the risk of long-term brain diseases. Consistently sleeping less than 6 hours a night doesn't just make you tired, it slowly damages your brain. Research shows that chronic sleep deprivation affects memory, decision-making, emotional control, and even leads to the buildup of toxic proteins linked to Alzheimer's disease. Over time, poor sleep can literally shrink your brain. Less than 6 hours of sleep impairs attention, focus, problem-solving, and reaction time, comparable to being legally drunk in some cases after just 1-2 sleepless nights. Sleep is essential for memory consolidation. When you sleep too little, your brain can't store or organize information properly. Sleeping less than 6 hours regularly has been linked to an increased risk of developing type 2 diabetes. And here's why. Point 10. Insulin resistance. Lack of sleep can cause the body's cells to become less responsive to insulin, making it harder to regulate blood sugar levels. Hormonal imbalance. Short sleep affects hormones like cortisol, stress hormone, and ghrelin, leptin, which control appetite, leading to weight gain, a major diabetes risk factor. Chronic inflammation. Sleep deprivation can trigger low-grade inflammation in the body, which plays a role in insulin resistance. Point 11 sleeping less than 6 hours a night can seriously impact focus and productivity, and here's why. Reduced cognitive function. Sleep deprivation affects the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decision-making, attention, and problem-solving. Memory impairment. Without enough sleep, your brain struggles to store and recall information efficiently. Slower reaction. Time. Less sleep makes you mentally sluggish, reducing your ability to react and think quickly. Mood and motivation. Drop. Lack of sleep leads to irritability, low motivation, and even anxiety or depression, all of which reduce productivity. Point 12. Sleeping less than 6 hours a night can seriously harm your memory. Poor memory. Consolidation. During sleep, especially deep and REM stages, your brain processes and stores new information. Less sleep, less consolidation. Poor long-term. Memory, weaker. Short-term. Memory. Without enough rest, your brain struggles to hold and manipulate short-term information, like remembering names, tasks, or instructions. Impaired learning ability. Sleep-deprived brains have trouble absorbing new information, reducing your capacity to learn effectively. Research shows that people who sleep less than 6 hours a night experience up to 40% reduction in memory performance, compared to those who get 78 hours. Less than 6 hours of sleep can seriously mess with your memory. Your brain needs sleep to store what you've learned. Without it, you forget more and learn less. Want a sharp memory? Start with quality sleep. Point 13. What happens with cortisol? Cortisol levels rise. Sleep deprivation signals your body to stay in a fight-or-flight state, increasing cortisol production. Increased anxiety and irritability. Elevated cortisol can make you feel more anxious, moody, or overwhelmed. Weight gain and belly fat. High cortisol is linked to increased appetite and fat storage, especially around the abdomen. Weakened immune system. Chronic high cortisol lowers your immune response, making you more prone to illness. Blood sugar imbalance. It also interferes with insulin, increasing your risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Point 14. Sleeping less than 6 hours consistently can cause poor physical coordination. Here's a breakdown of why. Motor skill impairment. Lack of sleep affects the cerebellum, the part of your brain that controls balance, coordination, and fine motor skills. Slower reflexes. Reaction times become significantly slower after sleep deprivation, comparable to being legally drunk. Muscle fatigue. Without enough rest, your muscles don't recover fully, leading to weakness and slower responses. Poor hand-eye coordination. Tasks requiring precision, like driving or typing, become harder and error-prone. Impaired spatial awareness. Sleep-deprived individuals may misjudge distances, bump into things, or drop objects more often. So, if you've been sleeping less than 6 hours and feel like you've gotten used to it, think again. What feels normal might just be your body adapting to dysfunction. Sleep isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Don't trade long-term health for short-term hustle. If you found this video eye-opening, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more science-backed content, and share this with someone who thinks 4 hours of sleep is enough. Until next time, rest well, live better.